tonight I'm sitting with the absolutely amazing Ekow Kwagrain. Good evening, Ekow. How are you?
Good evening, ST.
Thank you so much. I want to take it back a little bit, and just before we go into what you've done and what you've done within the property investment spectrum, I want to talk a little bit about Ekow.
Yes.
What, growing up, did you always know this is something you wanted to do?
Yes, with property, it has always been first love because my mom is into property, even though she's not doing it on a commercial level like we're doing now. But I remember when I was growing up, and my mom was a secretary, and she was doing pretty well. And people around her always, they were driving, had their own cars and the rest. So one day I asked my mom, why are you not buying a car? And she just said, if I don't own these premises that we stay in. And back in the day, the government companies always had properties that they let out to their senior employees. And there was a process whereby they were busy trying to sell the properties to the employees. And she said, if I don't own this property, I will never buy a car.
Right.
Because it's 4 basic needs of human beings. It's food, clothing, shelter, electricity, and water. So you can't do without.
It's about, you see what your mother did was she had a goal, and before she could have, and I feel like for me, a car is a luxury.
Yes.
We can get around, I've been getting around without one. So tell me about Ekow's courage. Where did that motivation and drive come from?
So I think it's a genes thing, if I must put it that way. It's a family thing. So our family is rooted embedded, our business is rooted embedded in our family history. So my grandmother, who was an illiterate, that had 7 kids, husband passed away, so 7 female kids. Let me stress that, female kids. Husband passed away, managed to educate all her kids. She was just a seller on the street, selling tomatoes and chili. And when we were growing up, my cousins and I used to go sell for our grandmother. And she used to play a competition game with us. So whoever comes early gets either pawpaw or get egg. So that was the reward. And I think that's where the love for selling. So if you ask anybody who's Ekow, what does Ekow do, they'll tell you Ekow is a salesperson. And that's where the love came. But now to do it on the property level, it's a different thing. The property level just came into play when I asked my mom that question, and also just understanding where we are now. And not wanting to be on the street.
Right.
So that's where.
And we've had many conversations with previous guests in the past who look back at their life, where they come from, and it's really just the only thing that's driving them forward is to just not go back there.
So with me, I wouldn't say I'm from a family that was rich and not poor. In terms of going back with my family, I'm always proud to be associated with my so I don't have any bitter experiences. But one thing I know is that I have a lot to give to be a failure, if I can put it that way. So 3,000 jobs. So how am I supposed to create that? So how do I do that? What is the outcome? What is the due date? What's the goal? So basically, so those are the things that drives me. And I remember when I was a child, again, selling for my grandma, I used to sell sweets, so coconuts from Ghana. So we had coconuts at the back of our yard, and we used to plug that coconut. My brother and I, Ebo will probably tell you the same story. So I used to make sweets out of coconut, sell them. At the age of 11, I paid my own school fees, paid Ebo's school fees at the age of 11. So what has kept me going is having the strength to save money and be able to use it better. That's what keeps me going.
In your bio, I see that you're the CEO and founder of B Grand Properties. What all do you do at B Grand?
So at B Grand, we do property investments, property management, student accommodation, rentals and sales some of the time. But predominantly the business is at the heart of property investment, where we buy whether dilapidated properties or existing properties, and then refurbish the property and then rent them out. If you view across the street, those properties that are modeled across the street was my idea. I found the owners, went through a model with the owners because Wits was my school, so just across the street. So found the owners, go through the model, show them how they can make money out of the business, converted one of the building just across was for it wasn't an accommodation. There was a school.
Okay.
So school. It was a school that was operating in that building. But I managed to get to the owner, and then I showed her a model. She bought my idea. So every single thing that you see there across the road was my idea. The painting colors, the floors, converting the rooms to the student accommodation, everything. And that's what we've done. And that helped me to be able to actually hire Andile as my partner. Hired Andile whilst I was still working because I couldn't be there and be at work.
Right.
And I believe that if you're doing something, you need to give it your all. So before I quit my job, I have to get out on a good foot, right? So that's what we did. So that's the impact story of it. And also another thing we do is to manage people's property properly. I believe that if you manage somebody's property properly, they say I'm expensive because I always come in and raise the price.
Right.
So they call me the money man. But if you do it properly, if my clients are doing well, I'm doing well, because then I can leverage off their existing income. Because I know how much they make. And I'm the only person that can go in and say, hey, listen, when I came, you were making 80,000 rent, now you're making 1.5 million a month, so therefore, give me 500, let me do this, and I'll pay you back. And that's how the business was built.
Again, it's that relationship with people.
Yes.